Hello everyone, I am Shelby. Welcome to my channel, Shimmer, and today I decided to do a new series where I take a jar and I put pieces of paper in it with different items, animals, dinosaurs, you name it, things I don't normally draw, and I put it in there. And I take two pieces of paper out, without looking of course, and whatever those two I get, I make whatever comes to mind of the combination. But the Longsharesaurus, which is an extinct reptile, which is a lizard, it is very unique with these giant spikes. They're not really spikes. They're just like long extensions. It reminds me of like a Spinosaurus with the way how they are without the frill attached to it. And then the plowshare tortoise is like this round Australian tortoise, and it's super cute, super adorable, and I really just want to incorporate the shell of it. I tried to do a drawing with the main, extensions of the lizard, of the Longsharesaurus, and it didn't look right to me, so I didn't do it that way, but I still incorporated both of them together, and I love how it came out. Now, I was playing around with, like, all the detailing of, like, scales and details of it, so I wanted it to be very detailed, because if you ever look, like, at a reptile or anything, and fossils of dinosaurs and extinct creatures, some of them you can see, like, the scaling and stuff. They're very, like, they're detailed, of course. So I wanted that incorporated with it. I know I want it colorful and bright because reptiles, most of the reptiles that I've seen are colored in some way with bright colors on them. I'm not saying all of them, but the ones I've seen are normally colorful and bright. So I incorporated that into it as well, but I wanted it to be cute, like sweet, puppy doggish, look to it. But I want to incorporate the tortoise's nails into its feet, because when I did lizard feet for it, I didn't like the way it looked. And then I tried doing the banded look of what a leatherback turtle would look, but I did not like that look, so I scrapped that. And this is where actually the main design came from, is that I liked the first one with the shell. So I was like, okay, let me pose it different. Let me do something different with it. Let me tweak it, see what I like about it. And I finally ended up just deciding on the combination of the two. So the whole reason why I did this new series is because I got tired of scrolling through the internet and stuff and books that I have to try and find a reference. So I was like, okay, you know what? Instead of scrolling through the internet, I am just going to put some things in a jar that I don't normally draw, that I don't normally see, and I'm going to look at an image of it, roughly put down the details or whatever look of that creature, like I did at the top. You see the cutouts of what I did, and that's what I'm going to go by. I have one specific image of both of them, and that's it. I'm not going to scroll because everything's already picked out for me. That's usually what I spend most of my time on. So if you would like to try this, you can. And I tape these papers into my sketchbook underneath everything, so I know exactly what prompts I pulled out, and I won't have to pull those back out of the jar or throw them away, because I was like, well, I might as well just put them in. So my handwriting's absolutely atrocious, so I'm sorry for that. And I tried, as you can see, I tried doing like a little beak, which I like the beak, but I didn't like how I did that. And the posing of it reminded me of a dog, and I was like, oh, it would look cute a certain way. Let me try some other different types with the shells and play with it. And I tried doing it simplistic. I tried to simple down the shell. I did not like how it looked once I simplified it. Now, I'm not good at drawing turtle shells, but I went by the shapes, and I was like, okay, if I go by the shapes, let's add more detail, which my thing is now, if I add enough detail, I'll like it enough. So I added a bunch of details and stuff, and I started to like the shell. It started coming together. Now, can you add too much detail? Yes, but I'd rather have too much detail than not enough detail. So that's my thing now, because I've taught myself to add detail to everything. At least try to in some way add a texture and, like, pull a focus. But I made this on my fiance's birthday on the 4th of February. And I showed it to him like a couple days later. I'm like, look at this. It was like 2 in the morning whenever I was drawing this. And he was like, oh my gosh, this is cute. It reminds me of Dauntless. We've been playing a lot of Dauntless, which is on the Xbox. It's a free game that you can play, and there's all kinds of like beasts, dinosaur kind of looking things, and mixed with like turtles or owls or bear. They're super cool. So he's like, that reminds me of something that would be in Dauntless. And I didn't think it would look like Dauntless, but it does. Like, if you put that in Dauntless, it could literally go into Dauntless. But anyway, he really liked it. Now, this sketch here, I butchered it. It's so bad. I was like, let me try and do these extensions as a tail. This is where I set the lizard feet and the extensions, and oh gosh, it's a disaster. I don't know why I thought this was a good idea, but I jotted it down either way just so I would have something down and say I tried it. I absolutely hated it, but you learn from your mistakes. So in the finished piece, I really liked how it came out. Even though it's a rough drawing, I later on want to redraw it and make it into a final piece. Now, I tried so hard to make this little dude look cute and everything. Sorry, my dog's growling. Shh, shh. And I tried so hard to make it look cute and adorable, and it wasn't doing it for me. So I ended up just roughly getting it down, and I ended up going for the changing up from that to my original first one with the cute little shell and the little spines down its, tail and stuff. That one I really like. And not to, toot my own horn. And I like how it came out, though. I don't know what came over me to make this shell like this, but it was horrible. So, anyway, I got some stuff in Etsy, which is like my digital pictures, digital, downloads and stuff. Like transparent stickers you guys can like download and print for yourselves. I am also working on putting a story up on Wattpad to see how that does, to see how people like it before I decide to actually publish it anywhere. So it's still in the making, and I'm just starting to get it put on Wattpad. If you are interested in starting to read it, I got the prologue up, but I don't have a chapter up, which I'm in the middle of working on putting the chapter up and putting it on Wattpad so I can get some critique back on it. And I did a character design of Antonio Fenrir before on my channel, which he's a really rough character design, but that's roughly how I want him to look in the beginning. So I still gotta make Soria as well, and she's a bubbly, sweet sunshine, ray of sunshine. But anywho, enough about that. So I got the rough sketch down of this creature, and I have yet to name it. And I liked its beak, and I tweaked it. I was like, okay, it's going to be grabbing branches. It's obviously not a meat dinosaur, a carnivore. And it's just not. I mean, it doesn't have like teeth or claws, actual claws, It's going to be up on its hind legs with its long tail, and it's heavier towards the back part of it. So I'm hoping like the shell will help balance it, and longer tail will help keep it so it can go up on its hind legs to reach for branches and stuff to eat, and different creatures are going to be going after it. So I thought, well, a shell would keep it protected for the, most part. And from the elements and stuff, from the tortoise. But then the long neck, the long body, the long tail is from the extinct lizard. So it can eat bugs, but I have it eating plants right here. So it's an omnivore. So it can eat both, bugs, fish, maybe, worms, small things. And they can come in various shapes and sizes. From, a small, medium, large, just depends on which species it is of this. And they can live in harsh climates, dry climates. They don't need a lot of water, but they are going to venture out and find food. Now, they can live in warmer, wet climates. So they can be a little bit everywhere, but they cannot live in cold climates because they cannot regulate their body temperature. Since it's a reptile, they have to have sun and no cold. They can't do cold. So obviously it's just going to be in the warmer parts. But look how cute it is with its cute little eyes. And I wanted to add like little scratches, details, folds to make it look like a dinosaur where it's folding and its beak. And it has a little tongue, which I forgot to color, but that's okay. And it has like really flexible arms and legs, really sturdy ones, but they can't use their claws like fingers or anything, toes to grab on the things. No, they just take them and they grab the branch, or whatever they're up against, but the claws do help, they're not like holding it like a monkey or whatever. They're just, able to grasp it a bit, and it'll help guide it down to it or guide it to its mouth. Not like the giant sloth, not that with the giant sickle nails, no. Not like that. Its defense is to use its tail to fend off predators, and they can, like I said, its beak, it can bite, it can claw, it can use its uses weight to be thrown around. But if they flip it over, if it gets on its side, its underbelly, is exposed, which is the softest part of this creature. So this creature does have a weakness. It's going to be the under part of its shell. Now, its skin on like its legs and stuff and on its sides is going to be tougher, but it doesn't mean it can't get hurt from other creatures trying to eat it. Excuse me. So it can still get ate and stuff. But I'm just trying to go around adding details to its shell. Bit by bit, I'm adding detail. I added its little eye. Now, if you did not know this, reptiles have a third eye on the top of their head, so they know when, like, the sun's out, if it's night, if it's day. It's not a literal eyeball, but it's like, they call it a third eye. So they know what time of the day it is. At least that's what I found. Unless there's some other use for it. I know it's that use for it. Unless they have another use for it. Anyway, they do have like scent glands. They will scent gland stuff. They're usually pretty quiet. Unless they do like a little grumble. Obviously, he's going to hiss whenever he's angry or upset. He's going to hiss at predators, stand up taller on his hind legs to make him look bigger, puff up a bit, Let's see. Its eye, whenever I think of this creature, I think of like a gold yellow eye with a black, pupil in it. Slit, whatever you want to call it. Whatever it's called for a reptile, I'm going to call it the pupil. And I think, obviously, the coloring for it's going to be different with each environment it's in. And the age of it. So, like, if it's a baby, it's going to be, like, more earthy color so it can, like, camouflage itself. But the older it gets, the more like collars it'll have later on to attract mates once it gets to a certain age. And I think that would really, help it. Like the collars really help out, and the males will like do this little dance for him, a little hop around and call to him, and yeah, I think they'd just be adorable. Alright, so I blabbered on enough about it and what it do and what it, and the environment and stuff about it and what it eats. But this piece, I really enjoyed it. Like, I enjoyed the concept of it. I enjoyed drawing it. I enjoyed doing everything about this. I really, really love how it happened. Like, I had fun overall. Like, I didn't have a point where it was bad to me. Like, I didn't have a point where I thought I didn't like this, which I get to a point where it goes through an ugly phase. I'm like, I don't like it. I didn't have that issue with this one, surprisingly, at all. I just kind of like went with it, did the detailing, I went bit by bit, and I really, really enjoyed it. So I made it look like it had bit some leaves off, and obviously this one, to me anyway, this one's a baby eating leaves because there's a giant leaf. So this is a little baby on the ground. Now it looks super colorful, but it's going to be brightly colorful when it gets older as an adult. Like this one's green and reds and blues and pinks and orange, but it's mostly green. When they get older, those colors are going to be more heightened. I'm sorry if the camera is shaking. My cat kept running across and knocking it over and everything and driving me crazy. And I was moving it and adjusting it as we went to try and get you to look at it better. Anywho, so here is what it looks like, and I am just going to go in with, like I said, yellows, blues, orange, some red, what else? I know different shades of green, but you'll see what I add, because each one, I did not use a name brand, like fancy color pencil. I used Crayola pencil for this, so don't think it's anything fancy or anything. I like to use Crayola if I'm just roughly putting something down. So that's what I use, is Crayola for, like, if I'm just throwing an idea down and getting something done, and then later on when I want to do it, I'll go back and revisit it. So last month, January 26th, it was my birthday, so I am officially 23 years old. Now, age is just a number, but my body, no joke, my body, when I say it feels like an 80-year-old, I mean like my body is an actual, sorry, my body is actually like an 80-year-old's body. Like, physically, it's an 80-year-old body. My fiance likes to tell me that he loves it that he's with an 80-year-old lady. But my uncle was supposed to cook that day authentic Mexican food, because my uncle's Mexican, which he wasn't able to. So Cody made my food, which was still really good. Like, I love his food. But my uncle came, what day was it? The 4th. He came over and made actual Mexican food. And oh my gosh, his food's so good. He made these Mexican meatballs, and he put rice in them, and they were so good with this, like, it reminded me of like a beef stew, but it wasn't. It was all like an Italian spaghetti sauce in a way, but it was so good with spice. And he made these beans, these really good beans, and oh, it was so good. Well, also for Cody's birthday, we went and we got authentic Chinese food, which was so good. We haven't had Chinese in like a year. Like, we haven't had actual Chinese in like a year. So if you could believe that or not, since COVID and everything, we usually make homemade Chinese food. Like, we got it to where it's similar to what the Chinese, Chinese buffets, authentically, authentic. And, oh my gosh, it's so good. Like, we usually just make ours. But anyway, yeah, it was so much fun. Like, we did it for my birthday. We did bingo, family bingo, which is awesome because my whole family does family bingo, where we do bingo night and we do prizes. People get prizes or whatever. You buy prizes, put it in. Kids really love it. I really enjoy it because my whole family enjoys playing bingo. Cody never played. Neither did my little cousins Alejandro and Antonio. Antonio and little Alex and Tony got to play, and they really liked it. They were callers, and they enjoyed it. They got bingos, and it was just fun. My grandma made me a Care Bear cake, and oh my gosh, she was so cute. I can't remember the name for the life of me. I love Care Bears. I love Care Bears. I'm a huge Care Bear fan. I cannot think for the life of me of the Care Bear's name with the rainbow on its stomach. But it was a strawberry cake. Rue. It was strawberry cake with strawberry icing. But Cody officially turned 35. Which, I'm 23 and he's 35. So, there's a bit of an age gap, but I don't see it. And his son is actually 16 now. So, I'm closer to his son's age than he is to my age, which is hilarious. But age doesn't matter to me as long as I'm happy, and I'm very happy with him. But he got a velvet cake, a red velvet cake, which has chocolate in it, so I couldn't have it. But I ate the icing. And my aunt had a birthday yesterday on the, what day was it? The 5th. And we had Carlos Bakery's cake, which if you don't know who that is, it's Buddy from Cake Boss. And oh my god, their cake's so good. We've had it twice on my little cousin Asa's birthday and my great aunt's birthday. Oh my gosh, their cake is so good. Like, But enough about cakes and birthdays. So I have a Teespring shop where you can get stickers and cups and shirts and stuff on there. If you're interested, it will be linked below. And my Etsy shop will be linked below. And along with my Instagram account, you can follow me at, because I do post my stuff on Instagram. And I have recently been playing with clay. Now I want to do clay earrings and clay charms and clay, I just want to try clay out. So I'm going to be messing with that and seeing how that goes. So let me know what you guys think, and I will see you guys in my next video. So I'll see you guys there. Oh, before I go, if you guys have anything you want to see or any specific things you want me to do, do let me know, and I will get to it and do that. So, I'm just letting you go, letting you know. So, there's that, and I will see you guys in my next video. I hope you enjoy the rest of this, and look how cute it is. So, I'll see you guys later. Bye.